Is that any way for a man to carry on? Do you think I want my loved one gone? Said I love you more than you'll ever know.
Guys, so first I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm super excited to really start this little journey of my story on YouTube. So this show is called The Nigga Chronicles, and I actually started this show on Snapchat maybe like a year ago, maybe a year and some change ago. And I started it based off of I was like dating like 3 or 4 dudes, or just fucking them. Really, I wasn't dating them because we weren't going anywhere. But and I would just like chronicle like these things that would happen, or just these crazy little things that would happen, shit that they would say, just dumb shit they were doing, what I would find when I'm going through their phones, all of that type of thing. So right now I'm not dating anybody. I'm just kind of like entertaining him when I want to. But I broke up with him, but we'll get to that. So for the first episode, we're going to actually start with a nigga that I dated over the course of some years. And I had met him in high school. He was a really big part of my life. So, you know, he was my high school sweetheart. And it just, you know, it didn't end, you know, once I graduated, or once he graduated. So, oh God, this is about to bring up some feelings I don't want to feel. So let's get started. All right. I'm not going to use anybody's real names in the story. Okay. So, when I was in the 10th grade, and I joined the band, which, by the way, everyone should be in the high school band. Everyone's like, oh, it's like some geek shit. No, it's fun as fuck, and it's like a whole nother little family that you make. But anyway, I joined the little marching band, and before, like, we actually went to school, we had to practice and shit in the summertime, practice all these routines, all this bullshit that we had to learn. And I had met this guy there, so let's call him Vaughn. So me and Vaughn, we just clicked. Like, we clicked. We were inseparable. They had to separate our asses. And I don't know. I just really felt something for him. You know what I mean? And he obviously felt it for me. And okay, so back in high school, this was like really before like all the texting and all that bullshit came out. Like, I think Facebook was maybe just started to get really popping, and I want to say maybe MySpace was still kind of big. I don't know. So this was back in 05. Yeah, so 05. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2005. So I would like write him these letters, and he would write me these letters, and so he, you know, wrote me this little letter like asking me out. Okay, no, this is what he would do. He was giving me these armbands, like these, you know, those little Nike armbands or whatever. And in one of the bands, he had, I guess, wrote like, "Will you be my girlfriend?" So my dumb ass would just, I wouldn't even, you know, I just put the band on and threw that little piece away. So then I guess he like confronted me like, "Bitch, like, you gonna be my girlfriend tonight?" So I was like, okay. So I was happy as fuck because I really liked him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had my little eye on him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was like tall and he was dark. You know, that's how I like these niggas, okay? I'm not into y'all little light skinned niggas, okay? But I'll try y'all here and there. And everything I guess was pretty good, except for the fact that, you know, when you're in high school, that's just such like a pivotal point in your life because you're not quite that kid anymore, but you're not like no full grown adult who knows what the fuck you're doing either. So, and especially for me, I was just going through a lot. He was going through a lot too. And I think we really leaned on each other for a lot of stuff, but I definitely would write him hella letters, like pouring my heart out, pouring my guts out. But when I was with him, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't treat him the best. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I was just innocent and I treated him so great. Like, I didn't. You know, I'm fucking, what am I, 15? You know, I don't know how to treat no nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know from what I see on TV or, you know, what I see going on in my home and how I grew up, you know, the woman that I grew up with, as it wasn't my mom, but the woman that I grew up with from, you know, when I was in that age bracket, wasn't like loving or nothing towards her husband. You know what I'm saying? Not that I wasn't loving towards him, but I just didn't know what I was doing. And I think he wanted me to show more of that, you know, like affection or whatever. And when we would get on the phone, I don't think God damn, I'm trying to remember. I don't really know if we really had like that much. It wasn't the same as when I was writing him letters. You know what I'm saying? But I most definitely like was head over heels for this nigga. Okay. So of course he ended up breaking up with me because, you know, ultimately like I wasn't, I guess, you know, giving him what he wanted or whatever. So that was my 10th grade year. So my 11th grade year, back in band again, and he was dating this other bitch, like the flag girl or whatever. And me and her ended up being cool. Like I didn't know, you know, beef with her at the time or whatever. I just didn't understand why he was dating her. But okay, so he was dating her. I don't know if I was dating anybody, but me and him, like I said, we just kind of always like had that little bond or whatever. So we slowly but surely, you know what I'm saying, got back together. You know, I got my nigga back. And then one day, it was like a holiday or something. So I think we was out of school like 3 days or something like that. And so in the neighborhood that I had grew up in at that time, it was small. Like everybody knew everybody. Everybody went to that one motherfucking high school pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it wasn't really too many secrets going around. And it was, you know, it was a suburban neighborhood. And so I didn't like live in the same little pocket neighborhood that he lived in. And him and that girl, I guess somehow got together, and I don't really know what happened, if dicks were sucked or clits were licked, or I don't know what the fuck happened. All I know is something happened that wasn't supposed to happen with him and her. And when we got back to school, I just remember like he was acting funny, and maybe she was acting funny too. I don't remember too much on her part. But I just remember it ended up coming out. Oh, he sucked her titties. I think that's what it was. I think he just sucked her titties. That shit seems so innocent now that I'm a little older. Like, oh, he just sucked her titties. But back then it was like, you sucked her titties? Like, oh, hell no. I mean, if you my nigga now, no, you better not be sucking no other bitch titties. But I'm just saying, like, he sucked the bitch titties. And that, you know, I got mad. And I remember I confronted her ass in band class. Because, like, we used to go to band class in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Before school started and shit. So I confronted the bitch, and I remember her little friend was right there too, and the band teacher like broke it up before anything could happen or whatever. I think I broke up with him. I really don't fucking remember. Like, me and him have got together and broke up so many times, but it's a little fuzzy back then. You know, we're talking over 10 years ago. Trust me, it gets juicier as we get older. So we had, you know, broke up. We got back together. So now, boop, fast forward to the summertime. So now it's the summertime, and I'm going to be a senior in high school. So during this time, like over these years, because I'm originally from California, but I came to Maryland, because I'm in Baltimore, Maryland now. But I came to Maryland when I was about 8 or 9. So the contact with my mom was kind of like on and off a little bit. That's like a whole nother story. But I remember that, you know, the family member that I was living with, she was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're in contact with your mom, whoop-de-wop. You know, she's having a baby tomorrow. And I'm like, a baby tomorrow? What the fuck? So me and my mom start talking, and, you know, some things come up, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to rock and roll, you know, with you. At least I can spend my senior year with you before I go off to college, you know. She's like, okay, cool. So I had talked to him about it. I was like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I may go with my mom, you know, for my senior year and not stay here and finish out that last year. So like any good boyfriend would be in high school, you know, he was very supportive. Like, yeah, you know, like, I know the history of you and your mom, you should go, you know, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Get that time back together, spend that year with her before, you know, go off and do what you're gonna do. Cool. Do y'all motherfuckers know a day before my black ass went out there, he begged me not to go. He was like, look, I don't want you to go. Da, da, da. Maybe it had just hit him, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe he just didn't want to be selfish and be like, no, stay. And, you know, maybe I would have changed my mind. I don't know. You know, when you're 17 and, you know, you're in love or whatever, you'll make all types of fucking crazy decisions. And so, I was like, damn, little nigga, the tickets didn't been bothering shit like a bitch. Gotta roll out now, you know, I ain't got no choice. So it was, you know, sad. I left. We stayed, you know, like we stayed in contact a little bit or whatever. And it didn't work out. Like me staying with my mom didn't work out. So 6 months later, I was back in Maryland, right? I'm like, I got to go back home. You know, to my second home. So I was back in Maryland, and I got back, you know, in my old school that I was in. And I never forget when I went to go re-enroll, I seen his ass walking in the school, and I was like, okay, you know, still here, my boo's still here. Now, of course, he was with some bitch, but that wasn't nothing, bitch. I'll scoot you right on the way, bitch. Give me a month or two, bitch. Let me work my magic on my boo, because this is my man regardless. So, of course, we ended up getting back together, and everything was pretty good. And so one day, because I wasn't, you know, well, was I a virgin? I think I was like kind of like a virgin at that point. Ooh, that's a whole nother story. So no, when I came back, I wasn't a virgin. But I hadn't really hit like fuck yet. But anyway, so he came over my house one day, and I think we tried to have sex, but we couldn't. You know, we were just so young, whatever. It didn't work out. And so I wish it was like that with some other niggas. Like, oh, we tried to have sex, but it didn't work out. Instead of me being like, oh yeah, we fucked like 10 times. And I found out he was like the worst nigga in the world. But anyway, so I remember we were laying on my parents' bed or whatever, and I like proposed to him. Yes, like I proposed to him. I know that's like some new shit bitches is doing now, 2017. But back in 07, baby, bitches wasn't doing that shit yet. Okay, I started that motherfucking trend. I ain't get down on one knee, but I proposed to that nigga, and he said yes. So, we got together or whatever. You know, we was engaged, and he gave me like a little ring. I don't even know where this nigga got that ring from, especially when he was like 17, because he was like a grade behind me, but he, you know, he was just a few months younger or whatever, older than me, whatever, I don't know. And so I remember I got my little ring, and I didn't tell my parents because it was like one of them Romeo and Juliet type situations. Like, our parents did not want us with each other, okay, period. They didn't want us with each other. So I had only told my grandmother, because she was like a little bit more, you know, older people be a little bit more open about shit like that, because they'd be like, I got married when I was 13 and my first 10 kids when I was 18. You know, it's different for older people. So I told my grandmother. She was like, oh, that's a pretty ring, you know, I hope it works out, you know, hope he's serious about it. And I remember, like, I think he was fucking up kind of bad that year. He's fucking up kind of bad. And then when I had came back, like, I had changed, you know. When I was in California, I had been through some things. And so when I came back, like, my mindset was different. Like, I was moving different. You know what I'm saying? I was just doing shit that I wouldn't normally do. And I think he knew it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was this guy. I'll never forget this shit. It was this guy. And he was kind of like a D-boy kind of, you know, dude, dangerous dude, you know, one of them niggas, whatever. And he was in one of my classes, and I don't know how we would just get to talking about shit. And I remember, like, when I was in high school, like, I was a really bad pill popper. Like, I would pop like the Percocets and those Oxycontins, and like it got to the point like I was crushing them up and sniffing them. You know, it was really bad. Like, I started to kind of get like a habit, you know what I'm saying? And so You know, it's like you deal the drugs, I got the drugs, nigga. 1+1 = 2. Like, we need to link up. But I didn't know nothing about the drug game. I didn't know nothing about the type of motherfuckers in the drug game. And I didn't even tell my nigga, you know, my high school sweetheart, I didn't tell him what the fuck was going on either, because I think in my heart I knew I was doing some shit that I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like, really supposed to be doing. So I started leaving school, going to the D-boy house and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you go to them big schools and they be having like 4 lunches and shit. So, like, I would just tell, I had this one teacher, and it didn't matter. You could not ever go to his class. He didn't hand out F's or, you know, we had E's. He would just give you a C. Show your face a few times and they'd give you a C. So that would be, luckily, I think that was the class I had my lunch periods on. And then, you know, I had my friends and my homegirls and shit, because, of course, like, me and him used to skip lunches. And, you know, so we could eat lunch together, like, skip different lunches, all this different type of shit we used to do. And so I would tell my homegirls, like, yo, if he asks me about me, like, you tell him I'm here. Shit, hold on, y'all. You know, you tell him I'm there. And, you know, they was kind of like giving this nigga the runaround, but it's like, the nigga wasn't stupid, like, okay, this bitch obviously ain't here and ain't there. The bitch is out of school. You know what I'm saying? And then I would come back before my next period. So, you know, like, he knew something was going on. Now, I wasn't going off, like, fucking the dude or anything. But I remember one time, and I was, like, green. You know what I'm saying? I was green. It wasn't where I grew up. It wasn't city life and all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I remember one time he took me over his house, and he pulled out some crack, and he asked me if I wanted to smoke crack, and I was like, nigga, no, that's the first thing they teach you, don't smoke crack, like, even before weed, like, don't fuck with that crack, you know what I'm saying, like, hell no, I don't want no crack, nigga. And then he was like, good, like, I was testing, I'm like, what the fuck? And so then the next time he had a big ass Ziploc bag of like ecstasy pills, and so he was like, go sell these. No, I asked him if I could sell the whole bag. He was like, bitch, please. He was like, here's 4 or 5 of them joints, you know, see what you could do with these, and then, you know, we'll go from there. So I had took the pills and didn't sell them. Right? And then the nigga started asking for his money and shit. And I remember my dude knew I took the pills, because, like, I mean, I was at school, but I was with him, but I don't remember, like, telling him where I got them from, but I'm sure he knew it was under some shaky ass circumstances. Like, where did you get some e-pills? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? Like, bitch, you leaving school, you coming back, you got drugs, like, bitch, fill me in on the motherfucking secret. But he wasn't that type to, like, push and prod and pull. He just was never that type. You know, he's just kind of like, either you're going to tell me the truth, or eventually I'm going to get tired of this shit and I'm motherfucking bounce. So I had to scurry up, get some money, like a little bit of money from my friends, stole some money from my parents, and gave that nigga the money. And then one day, this is when I really had stopped fucking with the other dude, you know, at my school, the D-boy, as I went over his house one day, and it was like some other niggas came in the house, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck going on here. Is it a party, or some bitches coming through too, or you know what I'm saying, what's going on here? Like, it caught me off guard. And I remember he had like this movie room, and in the movie room, we was doing more than watching movies, you know what I'm saying? And so he was like, have you ever gave head before? And I'm like, no, I sure haven't did that yet, you know, haven't crossed that off my bucket list. And I was kind of like late with some of this shit. Like, all my friends had like kind of been lost their virginity. These bitches already was getting STDs, you know, and I was just kind of catching up in the game, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah. So I don't remember why I did it, but this wasn't really the type of dude where you was gonna tell him no. Cause like one time I went over his house and he pulled out a gun, not to shoot me or anything, but that was the first time like I ever saw a gun in real life, you know, not on some motherfucking TV. And it was kind of like, just weird, you know, the stuff that he was doing, like pulling out crack, pulling out guns, you know. I didn't really know what to expect from him. And so I did it, and, you know, and that was the first time I had ever sucked any dick. That was the first time. It wasn't on some like I was with my nigga and I loved him and I tried it. I was trying to please him. Like, it was on some like, I'm scared, let me get the licking. And then he got up, and then another nigga walked in. So I think y'all see where I'm going with this story. And then after he had got up, another dude had walked in. So I want to say it was like 3 or 4 dicks I had to suck, okay? And that was on the first time I ever even did that shit. So maybe that's why I'm so good at it now. I don't know. Got all that practice first time. You know, I try to just joke about that shit now, or else, you know, some of them memories, so they'll eat you up. But after I did that, I told him, you know, I was like, I'm not fucking with you no more. And I was like kind of scared to death that they would say something. And then my dude, of course, why would he want the bitch that didn't suck 4 dicks, you know, in one day and shit during school or whatever. So, you know, he never found out though. Yes, if he ever watches this, he will. But maybe if I told him, I don't know. He never found out, and those dudes never said anything. And it really killed me when we were like at our high school like graduation in the, you know, wherever that we were at, in that big ass auditorium somewhere, and one of the niggas got like some scholarship. I was like, really? Anyway, they only knew what he made me do, sucking all those dicks. Okay, you guys wouldn't think he's such a fucking great person. Anywho, so okay, then during the mix there was another guy. God, I sound like a hoe telling this story, but he really wasn't like it. So then kind of like during all this mix, there was another guy. God damn, I sound like a hoe, don't I? But I really wasn't. Like, I really wasn't. I don't think I was. There was another guy who was like in some of my classes, and like me and him was flirting or whatever, you know, liking each other or whatever. And I just remember like my parents, maybe we went out or something, but somehow my parents, you know, started to get to know him, and he was just more clean cut than my high school sweetheart. Like, you know, my high school sweetheart had some issues, but I think I just loved him all the more for it, because it's like I got issues and he accepts me and all my brokenness, and I accept him and all his brokenness. So like, let's be broken together and try to put these pieces, put some of your pieces with mine, and make this whole little glass house. Whereas the other guy was kind of already a little bit more like just put together, you know. He didn't really have too many issues, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like just the average kid, you know, green guy. And so I remember my parents really started pushing me to like be with this other guy. Like, damn, why don't you just leave, old dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to go get with him because he got his shit together, da 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 da. You know, he's getting into college, this and that. So it just became, it was just like, after fighting this battle on and off with my high school sweetheart and shit that happened with me and him and our parents, and of course they didn't want us to be together, so you think they was like letting us go out and shit on dates. Of course they weren't letting us do stuff like that. Like, of course not. And so I was just like, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? And then I was leaving high school anyway, and he still had another year. But, you know, so I took my engagement ring, I took it from off my finger, and I put it on a necklace. And so then, like, my parents got in, you know, the new dude's ear, like, yeah, you know, if it was my girl, I'd tell her to take that ring right on off her neck, like she's still hanging on to that ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, so eventually, I got rid of the ring, actually on a vacation that summer. We went on vacation that summer to Florida. We ended up going on a cruise to Mexico. That was really fun, niggas, okay? And I was in the ocean, and I took it off and I threw it in the ocean. I didn't want no other bitch to have it. I didn't want to give it to nobody. Like, that was my ring, you feel me? That was from him. Like, the ocean got it now. Hurricane Irma and came through. Who knows where the fuck that ring at now? But motherfucking be in somebody's fucking backyard. So I ended up being with the new dude, and we went off to the same college together. Of course, he went to the same college I went to. He was gonna follow me anywhere, to the moon and back. And I got pregnant. But we were trying to have a baby. I know that sounds crazy because, like, why would you go to college to try to have a baby? Oh, because I was young and stupid. y'all ain't know that by now. I was like the dumbest bitch alive then because I just had no real guidance. Like, my parents, like, it's easy to be like, oh, you're 18. You don't know, not to make these decisions. Not really. When you're 18, like, now that I'm 28, somebody 18 to me is like a kid. Like, bitch, you don't know a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I got pregnant and then like I found out later on, when my high school sweetheart found out, he was like, damn, already? And, thinking about it now, I wonder how that made him feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he felt like it was like the nail in the coffin that me and him could never ever be anything again. Because, I left him and it hurt him. You know what I'm saying? It hurt him. And this other dude, like, he seemed good for me, but I just don't think he was ready for the roller coaster that we were gonna go on, So, we just became homeless. Of course, we dropped out of college. I think, so we were in Baltimore in college, and then from Baltimore, we moved, God, where the fuck did we go? To down to Atlanta with his peoples. And then when that didn't work out, we went to California. And then from California, I had the baby. And I remember, like, one day, like, he was like, well, let's just give her up for adoption. I'm like, why the fuck would we give her up for adoption? Like, just because a few times is hard now, times are going to be hard. Like, we just got to push through it or whatever. Like, it wasn't nothing so crazy and so extreme that I felt like adoption, was the answer or whatever. So I ended up having her in 2008, and he ended up going back home to Maryland shortly after. So during this time, I think me and the high school sweetheart we started talking again. We started talking again maybe before we had that baby, and I was already like head over heels back in love with this dude again. Like, I'm telling you, like, I can't just talk to this guy and then it just be like, oh, we're just friends. Like, hey, water under the bridge for, the years we were together. Like, it was just never like that between us. Like, once we get to talking again, like, them sparks start fucking it's nothing that can stop it. Like, even if I don't want it to be like that, like, that's just how it is between us. I almost feel like we knew each other in another lifetime or something. It's really weird. So, baby daddy went back to Maryland, and of course he's supposed to send for me and get this job and save up money and get an apartment, and then we were gonna go back over to Maryland and live happily ever after. Y'all know shit don't happen like that. So of course he left, and it was out of sight, out of mind. And my mom's like, put him on child support. And I'm like, no, Mom, like, let's give him a chance, And I should have just listened to her ass off the break. And so at this point, I was back with my high school sweetheart. Okay, so I'm in California, and my high school sweetheart is in Maryland, and my baby daddy's in Maryland now. Okay, so me and him at this point, this was like our first time having a long distance relationship. So I remember he was doing really well. Like, he was going to some other different type of school from our high school. I think one of them schools the badass kids go to or whatever if they ain't doing good in regular high school. But he was doing real good. His grades are really good. Everything was going really well. But then I just kind of started noticing like a shift, like a little change in him. And I didn't know what was going on. And because I'm 3,000 miles away, I can't reach him. I can't just go to his house and be like, hey, meet me here, let's talk. It's easy to kind of like keep somebody out the loop when you're in those long distance relationships. So I just remember we started hanging out with like a bad crowd and shit, just doing shit you're not supposed to be doing. And I remember one time my baby daddy, he was supposed to send me like, I think it was like $100 out of each check or something ridiculous like that. Something, nothing big, okay? Or $50 out of each check. No, it was $100. Okay, so $200 a month. That's it. And I think the first payment, second payment went good. So then after we had broke up, I had broke up with him, because I remember he begged me. Oh my God, he begged me. He was like, please don't leave me for Vaughn. Don't leave me for him. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm not going to leave you because I love you. But I'm not going to lie. I told all them niggas straight left them niggas for Vaughn, okay? I ain't give a fuck. Like, Vaughn trumped all them niggas, period. So, one day, my baby daddy called me. And he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can only send you 50 this time because I'm going on a date and shit. So I need a little bit of money. You feel me? I'm sorry you're going on a what? And what the fuck does that have to do with you feeding this little itty bitty baby that I just popped out my coochie 3 motherfucking months ago? Think I give a fuck about a date? Some raggedy bitch that you going on it? Oh my God. Like, when I tell you that I went the fuck off. No, I went the fuck off. Okay, I went the fuck off. My best friend was in the room with me. Before I even knew she was gonna be my motherfucking best friend, I called my nigga Vaughn up. Yeah. Hey, I have a problem. That nigga ain't asked no questions. He was like, oh, where's he at? I'm on my way. I called my baby daddy. I was like, you about to get fucked up, okay? And you still better send me my motherfucking money, okay? That shit was crazy as hell. His mother called me. She was like, I'm coming to pick him up because you don't know who we know and we know. I was like, girl, obviously y'all don't know nobody if you want to pick his bitch ass up. That nigga was scared as shit. He straight called his mother like, Mom, please come and get me right now. I don't know what's going on, but Ashley done got crazy again on my ass. Yeah. Good times. But so after that, like me and Vaughn were still together, and I was real happy, like ecstatically happy. But because I never thought that he would get back at me, especially after I popped that whole baby out on him. You know, I mean, I wasn't with him, but still, like, that nigga still ain't got no kids. And if I found out the nigga had a baby today, I'd probably feel like a little bit of the type of way, like, oh, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? But then he really got distant, like super distant, like maybe one text every few days. And I just didn't know like what was going on with him, and I really tried to reach out to him, and all this, you know, crazy shit was like going on in my life, and that's where I'm gonna have to end it for tonight. Bitch been talking for 32 minutes and 45 seconds, okay? Like, damn, it don't even feel like I was talking that long. Telling y'all all my motherfucking BS. Yes, okay. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to the first episode and the YouTube season premiere of The Nigga Chronicles. You guys tune in next week to see what happened with me and Vaughn, okay? See if he ever even talked to me again, if we ever got back together, and just kind of, you know, what happened after that and how things ended up between us, all right? This story, by the way, is the most important out of the Nigga Chronicles, because out of all the niggas that I ever dated or fucked or sucked or whatever, he was the most important. And, you know, shit did get really bad with us, but you know, I'm not gonna like put dirt on his name. I'm just gonna tell the story truthfully from my point of view, because you know everybody's story different from their point of view. So I just wanted to kind of like throw that little tidbit in there for y'all niggas, okay? Anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all. Subscribe for a bitch, okay? Mwah. Love you guys. Night.
Falling in love now, losing control now, fighting the truth, trying to hide, but I think it's alright.